Okay, here we go. Our learning goal today is I can find the measures of angles formed when a line crosses two parallel lines, okay? We have a lot of vocabulary. Everything we probably I talk to you about today is new. So please bear with me, pay attention. I hope you have two different colors, plus your pencil or your pen, okay? And we are going to get through this and not take a whole lot of time, but then I'm going to want you to just pause me, get your worksheet, and I am going to make the worksheet simple, simple, simple. Okay? So here we go. We have to cover this verbiage and this information, so we need to make sure we do that. Okay? Angles in a triangle. I know you know that there are 3 angles in a triangle, and they add up to a total of 180 degrees. We've been over and over and over this. It's just a reminder, okay? It's nothing. All right. A straight line measures. Now, come on, guys. You've been doing that with the exterior angles of triangles. Yes, you used the theorem, but I know you know this, and many of my students say it all the time. A straight line measures 180 degrees, okay? Here's your first word, transversal line. Transversal line is this darkened line, okay? So the transversal line is that line right there, okay? A transversal line is a line that cuts through 2 lines and creates angles. By cutting through 2 lines at specific points, it creates angles, okay? Generally, the ones we're looking at are parallel lines, but it doesn't necessarily have to be parallel lines that the transversal cuts through. If you are cutting through 2 sets of lines, all right, because you can have a transversal that just cuts through 1 line, okay? But for our purposes, we're going to look at a transversal that cuts through 2 lines at some point. It makes 8 angles. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Each time you have this little angle right here, okay? So if it cuts through 1 line, it would make 4 angles. If it cuts through 2 lines, it makes 8. We have some different names for the type of angles that it creates. And these are some examples, and these that are congruent. What does the word congruent mean? Same size, same shape. Well, we're going to use the word they are equal, okay? Same size, same shape. The easiest one, vertical angles. And if you understand vertical angles, everything I tell you after this, yes, I want you to learn it. Yes, I want you to look at it. But for our purposes, what you need to know for 8th grade math, if you know vertical angles, you can get your question right every time. Okay? So here we go. Vertical angles are 2 angles that are I use the word diagonal. Some of you have problems with diagonal, so I'm going to say opposite also, okay, from each other. They're opposite of that transversal line, okay? They crisscross diagonally across that transversal line. So I'm going to start using my colors now, okay? So here I go. I got 2 colors, all right? And I'm going to use a marker instead of a pencil, but it'll be okay. So it says here I've got 8 angles. We're only going to worry about 4. For this process, we're going to worry about the top 4 because they gave us this, okay? Then I'll come back and show you what you're going to do on yours, all right? So on your practice. So we're going to worry about this part, so I'm just going to kind of go like this. All right. Don't do it big and all that because then you make a mess. You won't be able to do what you need to do. So it gives us angle 2. And I'm going to color angle 2 one color. So I used green. And it says angle 2 is 131 degrees. So I'm going to write 131 degrees out there, okay? When I said that it's crisscross or diagonal from angle 2, well, diagonal, I can draw a diagonal line. It goes to angle 4. So if angle 2 is 131 degrees, then angle 4 is 131 degrees. So I can fill out angle 4 as 131 degrees. Now, in order to find angle 3, because we're just going to fill in the first 4, okay? So in order to find angle 3, we know that a straight line angle, so if I draw my half a circle, is 180 degrees, don't we? So if, let's say I wanted to find angle 1 first. I'm going to do that in that color. Well, if that one is that color, then diagonally from it is angle 3, right? Well, angle 1 is 100, we don't know yet. So we'll just take 180 degrees, subtract 131, and in our calculator, we will find 180 degrees, subtract 131 degrees, gives us 49 degrees. So angle 1 is 49 degrees, and that little symbol right there means degrees, okay? You can leave it off. I'm not going to mark it wrong if you don't write it down, but just I want you to know what it means, so when you're reading a question, you know what it means. So if this one, then diagonally or vertically, they're also called diagonal angles sometimes, but most of the time they're called vertical, then that means that angle 3 is going to be 49 degrees, okay? It's as simple as that, vertical angles, okay? They are diagonally from each other across the transversal line, okay? Let's go on. Corresponding angles. Corresponding means same, kind of, okay? They are in the same place. So two angles that are in the same place on the two lines, and they are in the same side of the transversal line. So, two corresponding angles are two angles that are in the same place on the two lines and the same side of the transversal. Okay? So here we've got a transversal and we have two lines going across. Okay? They've given us angle 8. All right? So I'm going to take my handy dandy color and I'm going to go with angle 8 and I'm going to highlight it, and I know that angle 8 is 120 degrees. Okay? Now, this says two angles in the same place on the two lines and the same side of the transversal. So it has to be either 1, 4, 5, or 8 that has the same measure. Well, if you notice, here is this parallel line actually, and here's another parallel line. Do you see how 8 is sitting underneath the line? Well, does 1 or 4 sit underneath the line? I hope you said 4. So if angle 8 is 120 degrees, so is angle 4. So I can fill out 120 degrees for angle 4. Okay? Now, they are underneath the parallel line on the same side of the transversal. Okay? So if that's the case, then I know I can find angle 3 and angle 7, right? Okay? So 7 would be corresponding to 3. Do you see how that works? Because they are underneath the parallel line and they are on the opposite side, but they are on the same side, so those are going to be the same measure. So all I need to do is take my 180 degrees and subtract 120 degrees, and I take 180, subtract 120, in my calculator, which I hope you are all doing. I'm giving you plenty of time, and you find that it is 60 degrees. So angle 3 is 60 and angle 7 is 60. Okay, 60 degrees. Now we're only talking about certain types, and I'm not going to do the whole thing and make it messy. So let's just go on. Alternate interior angles. Oh my goodness, getting more fancy words here. All right, alternate interior angles, a pair of angles that are on the inside and I am going to emphasize that word inside of the two lines and on the opposite sides of the transversal. When I say just of the transversal, I mean the transversal line. I want to give you the least amount of writing as I possibly can. So they've given us angle 4. All right. So angle 4, I'm going to do angle 4. All right, and angle 4 is 73 degrees. So I need an angle, an equal angle is going to be an angle that is on the inside of the two lines. Well, here's my two lines, and by the inside I mean this area right in here. Okay, I am going to highlight that for you just so that you kind of understand. It's on the inside. So in other words, it's inside the lines, all right? Not on the outside of the lines. That's what I'm talking about when I'm saying inside, all right, and outside. So it's on the inside of the two lines, so it has to be 3, 5, or 6, and on the opposite side of the transversal. So that knocks out 5 because it's on the same side of the transversal. So it either has to be 3 or 6. So on the inside of the two lines on the opposite side of the transversal, well, it has to sit inside of the transversal. All right, so it has to be, where is it going to be? On the inside of the transversal, but on the opposite side of the transversal, but on the inside of the two lines. What about this? 6, right here. Right there, meets your criteria. Okay, so 6 is going to be 73. So 6 is 73 degrees. Okay, opposite side of the transversal, but inside. Okay, so then all I have to do to find 3 and 5, I've got straight line angle, so I can do 180 degrees, subtract 73, and I take my calculator, 180 degrees, subtract 73, and I get 107. So angle 3 and angle 5, and if you notice something, they're kind of vertical from each other, all right, is 107. We're going to get to there. I love vertical angles. All right, so angle 5 is 107, and angle 3 is 107, okay? Last one that we need to teach you about, okay? Alternate exterior angles. Well, we just did alternate interior, so now let's look at alternate exterior. A pair of angles that, can't see what I'm writing. Pair of angles that are on the outside instead of the inside. They're on the outside of the two angles. Oh, two lines. So sorry. My bad. Oh, let me erase that. That's why I use pencil. Lines. And on the opposite side of the transversal. So, a pair of angles that are on the opposite side of the two lines and on the opposite side of the transversal. So, 7. Let's look at 7. 7 is 106. That's what they've given us. 106 for 7. Okay? So, do you see how here's your line? It's on the outside. So you're talking about the area that is exterior or outside. So the outsides of the parallel lines, not this inner part. We don't want to look at this now. Okay? We're just looking at the outside. So opposite of the transversal and on the outside would be 1. So if 7 is 106, then so is 1 106. So I can fill out that 106. And so then, of course, I can go back to my handy dandy. I've got 8 and I've got 2. So I can take my straight line and do 180. Subtract 106, which is the known. They gave that to me. So 180 subtract 106, and I get 74. I know this has been a long process. So I've got angle 2 is 74 and angle 8 is 74. So here's what your test questions look like. In each diagram, line P is parallel to F, and line T intersects line P and F. Okay? So, oh my goodness, line P and F, and we've got line T intersecting. It's transecting it. They want to know what would be the value of X. This is similar to what a test question would be like. Okay? And the way they have these set up, they have 70, 70, 110, 110. What is this? 90 and 90. Those are actually corresponding angles. But see, and that's kind of why you need to understand this, but to me, look at the pattern. Look at the pattern. This is sitting on top of the line, this is sitting on top of the line, on the same side of the transversal. Top of the line, same side of the transversal. So they're telling you that X is going to be the same as this, 60 degrees. Okay? All right, let's look at number 2. In each diagram, line K is parallel to line L, and line T intersects lines K and L. So we have line K, we have line L, line T intersects, so T is your transversal. If you look at your pattern, 113, it's on the outside. Here, 113 outside of the line, but on opposite sides of the transversal. So these are alternating exterior angles. Okay? And the thing about them, yeah, you need to know that, but and I'm going to show you a trick about it all in just a minute. Okay? So 113, 113, 127, 127. 90 degrees, 90 degrees. 26, what do you think this is going to be? Yes, X is going to be 26 degrees. So they're just showing you a pattern. I have never seen it where they didn't show you a pattern. I need you to pause me and go get your worksheet. Okay, hopefully you paused me because I'm going to show you really simply how to do this. I really truly believe vertical angles are the easiest ones, but you can do it with whatever you believe is easiest for you. I'm going to say this. They gave me angle 2. Well, angle 2 is 78 degrees. I still want you to use your two colors. Okay, so please use your two colors. Angle 2 is 78. Well, what is diagonal to that? Angle 4. So angle 4 is going to be 78. If angle 2 is 78, angle 4 is 78. Then how can I find angle 3? Well, 180 subtract 78, and I find that angle 3 is 102. And angle 3 is going to be 102, and that makes angle 1 102. Now, I have 4 other angles on here I need to look at. Can anybody tell me what 6 and 8? Are they 6 and 8 going to go with 2 and 4, or this way? If you notice, see how these are vertical on this line? You just come down to here. That makes these the same here. I've got 2 colors, so 6 and 8. So 6, if angle 2 is 78, angle 6 is 78, and angle 8 is 78. And then I would go this way here to make my vertical angles or diagonal angles, and I'd have angle 7 is 102, and I'd have angle 5 is 102. And that is basically it. You have a few over here. Even on number 7, you could use vertical angles to figure out what you need, because even here, when I do 43, I know what's going to happen with angle X, and I'm not even going to tell you that's number 7. You can figure it out for yourself because it's self-evident, but if it isn't to you, then please ask your teacher and they will help you. There is question number 9 and question number 10 down here. I need you to remember adding, subtracting, right? Multiplying, dividing, squaring. What undoes a square? That's my hint for number 9 and 10.